Well, hello there. Slick back in the shed. See, it's a beautiful day outside. The sun is shining. Looky there. Beautiful. Feeling amped up, I tell you. I think it's the sunshine and the fact that it's now above 60 degrees out there. That helps. I'm thinking now is as good a time as any to get in the engine bay and do a little bit of... No, but in all seriousness, I got no intention of throwing any more tape in there or newspaper or plastic than I have to. It's not that I don't care. I think it's unnecessary for what we're going for. You know what I'm saying? Take a look. Alrighty. I'm gonna show them all this time. Yeah, I got a little bit of integrity. I'll pull the cables up. What I will do, just to be safe, because I'm not a complete hack. That'll do. You gotta consider a lot of this stuff you're not really even gonna see anyway, so whatever. But overall, if it looks nice, pretty black, then good. That was the whole goal. Wanted to show this because I figured somebody could get a kick out of it. I wanted you to see that there is a level of care, but it may not be your level of care. You know what I mean? You want to protect this, right? Stay away from open spots like that. This is literally just an additional barrier, but this will help you get a basic job done. You know what I mean? Okay, I hope, if you haven't by now, that you all are starting to realize that this is not supposed to be perfection. That is not what we're going for. There's nothing on this car that is going to be perfect, but the goal is maybe, first thought to come to mind is, that thing is looking sharp. It's supposed to be a driving car, and it's supposed to look decent, right? Take for instance, I'm just now noticing this, see in this light, the runs from when this must have gotten originally, repainted. I remember the paint code for this car was OEM. It was like it was like the lime green color. I'll have to look up the code and I'll throw it into a caption for you. My grandmother thought it was a disgusting looking color, and I don't blame them for repainting it this kind of maroonish color, which I am not sure off the top of my head if that's an original paint color or not. Again, I'll throw it up in a subtitle if it is. But that's not perfection, right? But then again, that's underneath the hood. When the hood's closed, who's seen it anyway? Okay, that's kind of the idea that I'm bringing to this, is that, okay, yeah, throw some fresh paint in there. Yeah, it makes it look 10 times better than it was, right? You all remember what it looked like, but it's not perfection. It's not supposed to be. We don't have time for perfection anyway. You want perfection? Put it in a museum. There's experts who will paint it to be in a museum. This one's going to be on the road. I stand by that. So it's still drying, but hear me out. That doesn't look too half bad. This is just to illustrate that, yeah, okay, throwing a little bit of paint in there, not only does it make you feel better, it does genuinely look better. And I suppose while that's drying, we can move on to something else. 4 hours of pushing broom by 12 by 8 4 bit. I'm a man of means by no means. King of the road. Well, if that ain't easy cleanup, I don't know what is. Okie dokie smoky. Of course I did not snug these up, of course I did not tighten these. Just kind of snugged everything up to hold it in place. Don't want to damage that gasket at all. All right. Sure. Now I do know our long, I don't know if it's made out of brass, copper? Brass, right? Wouldn't be copper. I don't know. Don't quote me. They're both shiny. That different metal goes towards the engine. I've heard some people will just swear by using an RTV, silicone RTV, with putting something in the coolant system back together. I did not use any, as you saw, because other people swear by not using it. So I'll tell you how it goes, and then I'll tell you which one I swear by. And you can form your own opinion. I'm sure there is a torque spec for this, but as far as I know, yeah, that's good. Yeah, we're there. Cool. Let's fit up some heater hose. Start with this one. It's a very short little baby one. So, got about 12 foot of hose here, just, you know, for stock purpose. They make a molded heater hose specifically for this bypass, and I'm not sure if I need to go get that one in particular, or if I can maybe just make, you know, this is just normal 5/8 inch heater hose. Make a little bit of a longer swoop from here to there. I don't want it to look goofy, but the overall purpose is for it to be functional. So let's just see if we can make that happen, because what I don't want is for us to try to make too tight of a turn. Like, I'm not going to just cut it here and hope for the best, because if I do that, you see how it kinks. Well, that's not conducive for coolant flow, is it? Yeah, there's no, I highly doubt. I'm just going to have to buy a molded one. That stinks. Well, don't know until you try, and I'm sure I can use that little smaller portion for something. Well, good morning, folks. It is slick back here in the shed, and bright and early, may I say. It's another one of those frosty days today. You'll probably see in the same video that I think day before yesterday, it was 80 degrees outside. As of like 7:30 this morning, it's 29, 30, and it snowed overnight. So I hope you enjoy going through Midwestern whiplash along with me. I'm here to share it with you. I got the gas burner fired up. Let's get the wood stove going too. Get it a little bit warmer in here for work, huh? All right. That ought to do for now. Gramps keeps all of his excess wood stock in the bed of the truck for ballast during the winter. I got the same idea off of him, and I'll be honest with you, if I had my own wood burning stove at home, I'd be doing the same thing. Gotta grab a couple new pieces here. throw them on top of the tarp for Gramps. That'll do, donkey. Toasty! I try to minimize the amount of smoke that starts rolling out of this thing, but you got to keep a light on it for a certain period of time, and there's only so much you can do, so whatever. Oh yeah, we're going now. Okay, so you remember how I was working on that drive shaft from episode 1, right? Where I was initially just trying to change U-joints, and there was a small portion on the slip yoke side of the drive shaft that was damaged. And so I initially was just thinking, oh, okay, I'll buy a new slip yoke, everything will be fine, we'll replace the U-joints, etc. Well, it is difficult for me to even keep track of how many mistakes I made after that point with that drive shaft. I want you to learn from my mistakes. Failure is life's greatest teacher, and the best thing I can do for you is to pass on to you which mistakes were made so that you can learn from me. That's the whole point of this. But I'm having even difficulty keeping it straight despite me trying to write down everything on some note cards. So I will say this, in short, that you need to ensure, if you are going to attempt to replace your U-joints, replace your slip yoke, start to do any repairs with your drive line or your drive shaft, that you need to realistically measure twice, cut once, so to speak, because there are, even within the same model year of vehicle, and you know they span a range, there are different size slip yokes, there are different spline counts inside of those slip yokes. The width of the ears on the slip yoke itself, and subsequently the size of the U-joint that would fit in that slip yoke, are going to vary in size. The caps on the U-joints varies in size. These are all things that I'm I'm learning. There's a specific way that you should go about pressing in a new U-joint, and there's dedicated tools for it. The machine shop to which I ended up taking the drive shaft for its final repair, because of all my mistakes, ended up having a dedicated press specifically to drive out and press in new U-joints to drive shafts. I obviously do not have those specialized tools. Can you get the job done without? Absolutely. Is it a little bit more difficult, as would anything, any specific task be? Sure. So for clarity's sake, drive shaft is complete. It's good to go now. We have a completely new drive shaft, new slip yoke, and 2 new U-joints, and I am glad, because I'm done touching drive shafts for a while. I am going to, for your sake and for mine, omit the videographic evidence of all those mistakes I was making. You're just going to have to take my word for it. Although I do have a nice little video that I made of me getting ready to assemble the latest U-joint that was thrown into the new drive shaft and slip yoke. Hope you liked that. Give me a second. I'll show you the new drive shaft, and then we'll call it quits on the subject. We'll move on from there. There we go. New drive shaft with the new slip yoke and the new pretty looking U-joints. I love the local machine shop. What I really wanted to demonstrate was the fact that the function of these U-joints is supposed to be smooth, right? Not necessarily flopping. However, it is also not binding or feeling as though it is impinged when you move it from side to side on either axis. That's what you want. All right, that's enough drive shaft work for a while. Howdy do, folks. Slick back here in the shed. Another beautiful day outside. I figure for the remainder of today, might be a good idea to replace the rear shocks. We got time for that. Also going to be shining up this rusty toolbox I got so that I don't have to keep carrying all of my tools, because all of my stuff is situated in the back here of the shed. All of Gramps' stuff is pretty much towards, I don't know, I guess what you would call the front. I want to keep ours separate, so if he ever wants to come out here and do whatever, then he knows where all of his stuff is. I'm not moving his around or, you know, fully integrating all of my stuff. I don't want it to be confusing for him whatsoever, but that does mean that it's a lot of just kind of back and forth if I'm moving to different areas in the shed. It would be a lot nicer if I had a dedicated toolbox sitting next to me that had most of the common hand tools that I needed at the ready. So, enough yapping. Let's get into it. Figured might as well just start with the toolbox, because why not? Only thing it doesn't have going for it, it's not light. It's not light at all, but it's full of old mismatched tools. I don't remember exactly where we got it. It might have been from a deceased relative. Might have been from a buddy of mine. I don't remember. But regardless, it needs to be cleaned, so let's clean out all the old stuff first. Some good stuff in here, I tell you. Somebody's probably going to laugh at me. I have no clue what some of the, like this, I have no idea what that is. I'm wondering if this is something relative to making keyways. I feel like I've seen that before, that type of tool, but I could be off too. Not to say that a lot of these tools won't go right back in here too, but assortment of sockets, sure. Oh, shoot. Can't mess up my good paint job. You see those skills? Now the truth is that I may come back and just throw another quick layer on that. May just leave it as is. You know why? It's my toolbox, that's why, and I can do with it as I will. While that's drying, let's see if we can go ahead and get those old shocks out, throw the new rear shocks in. The trunk has also functioned as temporary storage of any additional car parts that I had at the time, so I will have to quick clean this out before I can get access to the top of those rear struts, I believe. I think I'll also have to take the back seat out, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. And yes, the rear seat has also been additional storage, so let's clear that out too. I know where I'll put it. I'll put it in the other Mustang. Oh, empty box. Nice. Must have left that for myself as a little present. Past me's always looking out for future me. Ugh. All right. Okay, now, if I remember correct, to get the seat back out, you have to first take the bottom out, which just will slide. It clips in, you'll see. And then the seat back, there's 2 bolts that hold it down, one here, one over there, and then there's like a clip up top, but you should be able to just yeah. So let me show you how I yeah. There we go. Squeaky. There you go. I could darn near do that one-handed if I had the strength. That. Okay, well. All right, well, this car, I guess I forgot, this is not bolted in, so disregard. Now, this should just pop right out. Yeah, there you go, just like I said. Okay, easy does it. Okay. Oh, I got myself in a pickle. There we go. Yeah, I don't like to do that too many times. Since this is a convertible, you're supposed to remove, I was reading anyway, I do that on occasion, I was reading that you're supposed to remove a cover plate to get access to the top of these springs, or shocks, but where might that be? Maybe we ought to start under the car and unbolt it there first. And then I can get a better idea of where the top of the shock is in relation to the back seat of the vehicle. Let's go with that. Come here, come follow me. This? Yeah, this is my favorite part. No, it's not. Nope. About as fun as working on Driveshaft. All right. No, I do this all day before I touch it. Touch my next Driveshaft. Whoop. Okay. Try not to smack your car with the jack. Oh, I did it again. Just the license plate. It's fine. Just need a little room down here, that's all. And I need to make sure I throw jacks down here so they are right in the way when I'm trying to roll around. There we go. Lovely. Now, keep your jack in there. Has a third point of contact. Put some resistance back up there. You'll be good to go. All right, now I feel comfortable rolling around, put my face down underneath there. Not too comfortable, just a little. There we go. I love these adjustable lights, man. What do we got? Is that a Looks like good 9/16. Oh yeah. Okay. All right, let me snag a pair of vice grips onto that. That bad boy's on there. Cool. So that's just stripping the end off of that. All right, so I got smart, and instead I figured, why don't we try to throw some penetrating fluid on this. And zip it off with an impact instead, if I can fit one in there. Very tight. And now maybe we throw a vice grip on this side to hold the shaft of that shock. Gotta try. Spinning. Part problem is I can't get in there the part that needs to be grabbed. Well, if it's connected to the shaft of the shock, maybe I can just hold the shock. By golly, that's working. Yeah, baby. I'm eating pieces of the car now. Let's do the other side. So the only concern with this one is that our stud here on the end is bent. I don't know how well you can see that. Let me get you in. She's at an angle. Is this gonna be able to? I gotta take the tire off. What's up?
A different place to work, huh?
Yep. Almost. Got her. Whew. So I see what they mean when they say for convertibles, they're mounted at the top, right there. So I'm gonna zip those out. I gotta take this port off. Zip those out, and we'll be good to go. We'll cover the installation in a future video. All right, so it's not as easy as I thought it was gonna be taking out the old shocks, because the same problem that I was having underneath where the whole shaft was spinning on me. I don't even know why I didn't think of it as a potential issue, but it's the same thing up top. And yeah, while I have access to where that bolt is, or that nut is, to try to zip that right off, it's spinning on me. So considering I don't have anybody else able-bodied enough to either sit, well, besides my wife maybe, but she's back at home with the kids, I myself am just gonna have to go see if they have large enough locking pliers to, like a vice grip, so I can just clamp down on that around the entire shaft of the shock, hold it in place, and so when the shaft spins, it'll nudge itself up against the body, and then I can zip that right off. That's the plan anyway. We'll see if it actually works out like that. But regardless, that's all for this episode, folks. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, mention it to somebody. I think the best way and the fastest way to spread the wealth and spread the knowledge and share the channel is word of mouth. It really is a powerful thing, and I appreciate you as always. Take care and look forward to the next one.